What's going on, everyone? It's Thursday, October 2nd. You're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network presented by FanDuel. I'm your host here, Jacob Gramegna, alongside my producer, Jacob Gramegna. And we got a great lineup for you today. Tim Quinn, I see you in the chat. I agree. Solid lineup. We're starting things off. We're going to do some Survivor today. G-Stack George, after week 3, he said he wanted Buffalo Bills. We ended up taking, I think it was it Arizona? No, it was Atlanta. We
Last
lost
week?
No, this was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
We lost our Survivor, and George came on Friday, and after the show was done, he said, you know what? Like, I'm handing in my 2 weeks if you guys don't get me on for a Thursday game where I like the Thursday night game. So he's like, this is bullshit. I want to be able to take the Thursday night game sometime. So we had to switch things up. And George said, okay. We said, okay, fine, George. You can come have the Thursday slot and talk Survivor then, especially if you like the Thursday game. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. We'll talk about that in just a second. Like I said, we're going to talk some Survivor, recap what we did last week. We won last week. I believe we took I don't even remember who we took.
Last week?
Yeah.
Detroit.
We took Detroit. There you go. Took
and it won.
And it won. Not even a sweat. Feel bad for some people who took Green Bay because a lot of the pools, I always remember, read the rules. Tie is not a win. Some pools, ties are wins. But other pools that are like big prizes, ties are losses. So I will take that. A lot of people.
If I was putting a lot of money into a Survivor contest, I'd probably read the rules before I entered it.
Fair, but I feel like maybe this one, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you can't really account for a tie. It's not being like, oh, I don't want to. I'm going to stay off this game in case they tie.
Well, it's a risk.
Fair.
Like, would you rather you miss the kick and then they don't win? They don't even tie? Like, you don't win. You need to win to move on.
Yeah, I'm sure some people were like sweating for the kick and then they realized. Yeah. All right.
Again, you got to read the house rules.
There you
like
go. You got to know what to sweat for. After George comes on, we have, of course, big man on campus, Jeff Nadu. We're going to talk some college football. We're going to talk about his beef with Kirk Herbstreit's dog. I don't know if he doesn't like dogs, if he doesn't like Kirk's dogs, if he doesn't like the way that he posts on social media, but every week it seems like Jeff's got beef with him. So I gotta ask him about it. Gotta give him the floor to explain his opinion on these dog posts. And then to close out the show, we have one of the best prop bettors I know, Hitman. Got a ton to sift through for this Thursday night football game. Jawan Jennings hurt, Ricky Pearsall hurt, Mac Jones is playing, Brock Purdy hurt, Tyler Higbee out for the Rams. Tons of injuries all over the place. I got no idea what to make of things. Basically, the wide receiver grouping for San Fran is just a bunch of backups. Like, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Kendrick Bourne, Sky Moore. Like, who's getting the ball here?
This is the dream.
For
player prop betting.
Exactly.
And this is the dream day to have Hitman on the show, ladies and gentlemen.
It's perfect.
This is the one.
We're going to be talking some anytime touchdown scores. We're going to be talking about props, everything under the sun. And yeah, you guys know the drill here. Do me a huge favor before we get into the show. Smash that like button. Goes a long way for us here on the channel. If you're new to the channel, new to this show, hit that subscribe button. If I haven't earned your subscribe yet, that's fine. Stick around for the whole show. And at the end, I'll let you decide if you should press that subscribe button. Quick reminder before we get into the show today, Circles Off is doing a Q&A. We're doing it in the near future. So if you want to get your questions in, anything regarding betting, it can be strategy, things you have difficulty with, whatever the case is, we'll strive to answer it. Here's how you get your questions in. Number 1, respond in the comment section on this YouTube video. Number 2, you can tweet it at us or DM us on Twitter at CirclesOffHQ. 3, you can email us at circlesoff@thehammer.bet. And 4, you can post it in our Discord under the Circles Off Q&A channel. So if you're looking to get some questions answered, maybe you're trying to scale anything regarding betting, it's the best place to do it. So, go drop your questions in there. Like I said yesterday, I've snuck a few questions in under some burners. And that actually helped me out a lot, yeah. So I recommend you do it if you're looking for some answers. Anyways, let's get things started here. We got G-Stack George coming on the show. He's Director of Marketing at the Hammer Betting Network. He also is seen on the Tuesday Best Bets show on Forward Progress. On the Thursday night football stream tonight, live watch along, you'll be seeing him tonight. And I have him written down as someone who's kind of down bad because me and Moretto are carrying that Thursday show. So if you have bets for Thursday night, make sure you drop in the chat. George, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. And if you do have bets, please drop them in the chat because Moretto, he said only one NFC West game is all I can take on Thursday. That is bad. I'm not in for the San Francisco backups. So Jason, not only is it just you and I'm going to be stealing plays from Hitman. I'm going to be stealing plays from the chat. I'm going to be scouring Twitter to find the best props I can find because I have no clue what San Fran's offense is going to look like.
I really don't think they have any clue what the offense is going to look like. It's an absolute mess. It's a disaster. But we'll get into that shortly because that's one of the games you want to talk about here. Quickly, before we talk about this week, let's talk about a little bit about last week. We had the Detroit Lions come through for us. Do we have the graphic? We have Detroit Lions coming through for us. And George, I know we lost 2 weeks ago on the Falcons. Do we cheat and change it to the Chiefs and make it all right, this is the path we took so that we know not to take the Chiefs again? No. Not just we act as though we took the Chiefs because there's no it's very hard to have this path right now for a survivor. So in terms of teams we couldn't have taken, we can't take Atlanta anymore, but they lost. So most people took Atlanta are out.
Your journalistic integrity is once again showing its lack of being there because you wanted to edit the Chiefs and pretend like the audience has no clue that we lost that week.
Well, I never said that.
Jacob, that's how I perceived it. I don't know how you perceived it on your end.
No. Okay, so
you can't change it. You just got to live with the result there.
Maybe we put KC there because anyone who's still alive and has taken this path most likely has KC in that spot. And it's just helpful for the chat. Okay, anyways, whatever. It's fine. Hopefully we get no more red X's on the board. Yeah, didn't even talk about last week. Sorry, Lions. How did you feel about that? Do you think it was a good spot that we took them based on their future value? Are you happy with them obviously coming through and seeing the pick percentages in multiple bases? Are you happy with the pick itself?
Yeah, I was happy, especially given how low of an ownership threshold they had. And I think anytime you can get on a really easy leg on a popular team and you're not going with the consensus, I'm always happy about that. And it comes up in a discussion on a game this week. But I'm glad because Detroit's probably going to be the highest taken team this week, if not first or second. I don't want to be on the best teams when everybody's on them. So I kind of like taking a really good team when the rest of the market's not thinking that way.
All right. Yeah, no, I love that. And we'll talk about this upcoming slate of games shortly. Quickly, before we get into things, though, it's week 5 of the NFL. We've seen a ton of injuries to quarterbacks, especially. Obviously, Bengals lose Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson's going to be out for at least 2 weeks. Brock Purdy, tons of injuries across the board. A lot of people like to map out Survivor. Are we getting to the point now where you kind of got to move off of your map and look towards teams that might be in advantageous situations? I'm thinking of teams like the Saints and the Giants game where you kind of take a stand maybe on the Giants where you probably would have never taken them this early especially, but against an inferior team in the Saints. Same thing with Miami, Carolina, just those 4 teams you're never really going to take. Is it time now to maybe branch out, go a little bold, and kind of flag plant these 50-50 games when there's a lot of uncertainty?
So I'm of 2 minds, and there's 2 different conversations there. Number one, first of all, it's mapping things out. Every 4 weeks, I like to adjust my map and change everything. If I told you the LA Rams are a good option at the Ravens next week, you would think I'm crazy up until we saw this barrage of injuries. So you always have to adapt. Obviously, the Joe Burrow factor in Cincinnati changed their entire map. I always am of 2 minds in this game. A lot of people, they want to take these 50-50 games. They want to use Carolina maybe or Miami this week because when else are you going to take them? They want to take a Giants or New Orleans because they want to have the better board than everyone, and I can't fault them. I think you can do that, though, and be smart about it. Next week, Dallas at Carolina could be a spot where Dallas is not a huge favorite and Dallas lacks future value. That might be a time to go off script. I just don't think I want to trust the Giants, the Saints, the Dolphins, or the Panthers enough to make that decision here. But it's always a battle of when do I veer off path and go with something off the reservation so that I can get on a totally different map than everyone else. Because listen, if you're picking the most popular pick every week, along with the masses, you're going to get to a massive, huge tie if you theoretically survived.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in that boat. I want to be one of those guys who wins, but also wins with few entries.
Yeah,
few other people.
Absolutely. And also, if you're going to if you're going to win Survivor, you're going to have to be taking these under 3.5 point spreads at some point. You're getting, listen, there's 18 weeks. Some pools have 20 weeks. There is not 15, 18 good teams in the NFL that will always have a 7-point, 6-point, 5-point spread that you can feel like you're comfortably taking. You're going to be taking some gross games. Whether you want to do it later on in the season or early on in the season is up to you. So I just wanted to propose that question to see.
The thing I can't understand is when people take a gross game on a team with a ton of future value. Like I've seen people take like a Baltimore KC last week when they're playing each other, and I'm like, there's a lot of other opportunities. With New York Giants and New Orleans, it's now or never type thing. You're not going to get many opportunities to ever use them. So I don't believe in taking a razor tight game on a team with a ton of future value. I think that's bonkers.
Of course. Yeah, Giants obviously have a really tough schedule coming up, like you mentioned there. I mean, Eagles, Broncos, 49ers, Bears, Packers, Lions. Like, when would you ever take them if not now? You might have to be stuck with them in week 17 against the Raiders on the road, which they'll probably be underdogs on if you're ever going to take them. Anyways, we'll look towards that stuff if and when we make it there. Let's start with the games this week. Let's talk a little bit about that. A couple games you have some good comfort level with, including tonight's game, San Francisco 49ers taking on the Los Angeles Rams. We kind of know the situation. Everyone's hurt. Everyone's dead on San Fran. Bunch of backups starting. Detroit at Cincinnati is another one you have. Detroit 10-point favorites. And then New England at Buffalo, where Buffalo is a 7.5-point favorite. Walk us through each game and why you're comfortable with them.
All right, let's start with the started off as a non-obvious survivor spot. The line just has kept moving. I don't want to tell you about the San Fran offensive injuries. I don't know what to expect. What I do know is if people think they're going to get a heavy dose of McCaffrey, he hasn't run the ball very well. So I like San Fran's run game is bottom 4 in rushing EPA and bottom 8 in rush success rate. So I don't even think that's an angle, and I don't think they want to run him into a brick wall that many times. On the other side of the ball, the Rams have been a top 10 offense in both EPA per play and success rate. San Francisco's been a real like middling defense all year, middle of the pack, and that was with the benefit of having Nick Bosa for some of it. I just can't see a version of this game where San Fran can slow down the Rams offense and where San Fran can trade scores with them. Here's the real conversation you're having with yourself. Here's the Rams' future value. They play next week at Baltimore with all those injuries. Week 9, New Orleans. Week 11, home to Seattle. Week 13 at Carolina. They're projected 7.9% ownership this week. Thursdays tend to have a lower ownership rate. And at 8%, it's hard not to like the Rams here. The battle really is, do you want to be in the other spots with future value, but where everybody is saving them and map them out and wants to use them? Or do you want to take them here and get off the same map as everybody else? This definitely makes a lot of sense to take the Rams this week.
Yeah, no, I like the Rams pick because even with the people I'm doing some survivor pools with, we've been debating it. Like, do we like the future value, like you mentioned, next week on the Baltimore Ravens, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now on the Saints, tons of future value there. But I think I'm leaning towards Rams. The only thing I'm worried about is, and this is like I don't even know how to describe this, but it always feels like Shanahan kind of owns Sean McVay in these matchups. But like I normally I wouldn't be interested in taking the Rams here, but again, like there's so many injuries, there's so much going wrong for the Niners. It will be amazing to see how Shanahan, if he ends up winning this game, how he does it.
Marcus Robinson and Kendrick Bourne and Jake Tonjes beat you, man, sometimes you were just destined for that L.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Detroit game. We took Detroit last week. I'm sure a lot of people took Detroit last week as well. I think they were like lower owned percent, 10 to 15-ish. Taking on Cincinnati. Again, a Cincinnati team that looks terrible. Can't be confident in them to move the ball at all. Albeit they've faced 2 tough defenses the last 2 weeks. But again, I feel like Detroit, known for boat racing teams and being able to do that, winning in the trenches. It's going to be a tough sledding for Cincinnati. Break down this game for us here.
Yeah, in fact, in Cincinnati's offense has faced 4 tough defenses. Cleveland was tough. Jacksonville was tough. Minnesota and obviously Denver. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm not sure anything Cincinnati can do to provide resistance against this Lions offense. Denver moved the ball very easy against Cincy, and Denver is worlds apart from Detroit offensively. Here's where I think the matchup gets intriguing. I like Detroit's defense. It's been really good, but their secondary is really banged up. DJ Reed just went to the IR, and he's their best corner. Terrion Arnold limited in practice. Not sure if he's going to go. Kirby Joseph didn't practice. Call me crazy. We might see the dangerous version of the Cincy offense again against a defense that plays a lot of man coverage. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins might be able to beat those cover corners. I actually found a bet. I don't want to say that Cincinnati's a landmine. And we've done well with these bets, Jason. We won last week. I like Cincinnati over 19.5 team total points, minus 113 at FanDuel. I think there's two versions of how they get there. Number one is their offense just passes and looks really good. And then Detroit is up big and goes into a prevent defense and maybe allows some thinking and dunking underneath. The case against Detroit still has a lot of future value. Home against Minnesota week 9, home against the Giants week 12, home against Dallas week 14, home against Pittsburgh week 16. That being said, some people might want to take them. They're projected at 23% ownership this week. In the pools that I have them available, I'm still debating if I put Detroit in at all.
All right. Makes a lot of sense here. Detroit, again, probably will be like a higher owned team this week, but maybe not. Maybe not because, again, like you said, they have high future value. There were a couple survivor picks were used on them last week as well. Let's close out this one with the New England Buffalo game. Buffalo kind of went on a 3 or 4 game stretch where you almost wanted to pick them every single week. Last week we saw them as by far the highest picked team. I think they were at like around 25-30%. Probably not a lot of entries left that are able to use Buffalo. What do you think the pick percentage is going to be for them, and do you like them here against New England Patriots?
So Buffalo's such a weird team in like they killed the Jets week 2, but didn't look dominant outside of that. They needed the comeback against Baltimore. They let Miami and New Orleans hang around. On the offensive side of the ball, Josh Allen looks like he can get whatever he wants. Again, New England's actually quite good at stopping the run, and I hope Buffalo does not get stubborn because they like to run the ball. I hope they're not trying to run it into a heavy box all the time. The vulnerability for New England on defense is still their linebackers and safeties. They can't cover tight ends and running backs. We gave out the Chuba Hubbard over receiving yards, and he got there. Obviously, props are not populated, but I'd be looking at James Cook, Kincaid, Dawson Knox, some props there, see if there's some value there. On the other side of the ball, Buffalo statistically is an average defense, but I think they're far worse than that. I think they've had the benefit of playing like the Jets offense, Miami offense, and New Orleans offense. This might be a case of like getting Matt Milano and Ed Oliver back potentially, but they're playing a significantly better offense. Maybe it's like Drake May using his legs. Maybe it's more Travion Henderson. Buffalo's like a bottom 3 run defense in terms of success rate allowed. So that's really the key to watching it. As far as ownership, projected at 4% and huge future value. Too many places to name, but they're playing like Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, and then they're home against Tampa, home against Cincy. They got a lot of different spots. Ultimately, do you want to get in on Buffalo when they're a 4% ownership and not with the path, or do you want to save a team with so much future value? That's the discussion people are having this week.
Yeah, I know Buffalo is going to be one of those teams where if you save them, you're going to be loving them in those tougher weeks down the road. But again, like, when's the right time to pick them? It doesn't ever feel like there's a right time. I thought it was 2 weeks ago. I forget who they were playing. It wasn't the Saints week before that. Anyways, I think it was the Dolphins maybe. It was the Dolphins game where it was like a little closer than we expected, but ended up coming through. All right, let's talk a couple games that you feel like are landmines here. Gotta get you out the door quickly. So quickly, Vegas at Indianapolis, 6.5 point favorites. Indy is at home. Arizona taking on Tennessee, 7.5 point favorites for Arizona at home. Why are they in the landmine category for you? Maybe are they kind of in between? How do you feel about them?
Yeah, they're the caveats. They're mostly they're in between. I'm not exactly comfortable, but they're not exactly landmines. They're somewhere in between. On offense, for Indy, I expect like a heavy dose of Daniel Jones. Raiders are one of the worst pass defenses in the league, but they're actually really, really good at stopping the run. The real question for the Raiders, and probably any team that plays the Colts, is do you have enough depth of corners to cover? Like Indy goes 6 deep in pass catchers. They're 4 receivers, they're tight end, they're running back. On the other side of the ball, Indy's defense is actually really, really bad. 31st in defensive rush success rate. Is there a version of this game where Ashton Genty has a big game? I would feel a lot better of that if like the Raiders didn't lose Colton Miller, their left tackle, which is a huge blow. The other one is Brock Bowers hasn't looked good the last three weeks. He's getting healthier, but some people think until the knee brace comes off, he won't look like old Brock Bowers. Kenny Moore not practicing again. I don't think he's going to play again this week. Xavier Howard retired. Zaire Franklin didn't practice. Here's the real discussion, because they're projected at 20% ownership. The other chance you're going to have them comfortably is week 8 home against Tennessee. And do you want to take them now because of a lack of future value, or do you wait for the Titans? But what happens if, the Colts injury luck regresses? And what happens if the Titans O-line gets healthier and maybe Cam Ward starts to look better and maybe they have a new coach? So there's a lot of push and pull in that vein. As far as the Tennessee-Arizona match, big line, and I know it's a tax on Tennessee having been bad, but man, this Arizona offense has not been that good either. They're middle of the pack in most passing metrics, bottom 10 in rushing categories, and now they're down to like Michael Carter or maybe Amari DeMarcado. I also think Tennessee secondary is not bad. You could do a lot worse than L'Jarius Sneed, Jalen Armour-Davis, Roger McCreary. I like their safeties, Xavier Woods and Amani Hooker. On the other side of the ball, there's nothing to like about this Tennessee offense. Their O-line's still banged up. Calvin Ridley's hurt now too. Dead last sneaky per play, 30% success rate. And they've played obviously some tough defenses in Denver, Houston, and the Rams, but I don't know how they move the ball. Will Johnson could be returning for Arizona, and Arizona has a good defense. Jason, they're projected as one of the top teams taken, 24.4% ownership this week. Here's why. If you didn't take them in the first 2 weeks, this is it. Last chance, because there is no more future value. Obviously, injuries would change that. It's all about, do you feel comfortable with Arizona fading Tennessee? And there's no future value, which is why I expect whoever hasn't taken Arizona, I think Arizona will be the most popular picks this week.
All right, yeah, up to 25%. That's definitely a game I want to avoid, especially with, like you said, shaky Arizona offense, shaky defense as well, corner injuries galore against. Who knows? I'm always afraid of going against the Titans as the season progresses, because when is Cam Ward going to turn it on? Can he turn it on? Will that happen?
Yeah.
All right.
When does his priors no longer match his future value? And that's kind of the debate we're all having inside our head.
Exactly. All right. Let's quickly have you for another minute here. What are we deciding between? What are we going to pick here? Are we going to go with this Thursday night football game? Do you like Buffalo here? What do you got?
You know what? In a game that I don't know that I'm going to find a lot of bets to bet on tonight, I wouldn't mind you and I sitting in there sweating some Survivor on the Rams. That's kind of where I'm leaning. But if you're uncomfortable, we can make a pivot.
No, I love the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams. Let's go with the Rams here. Let's lock that in for our Survivor pick. And we got a sweat tonight for our Thursday night football watch along over on Forward Progress. George, appreciate you joining us. Appreciate you giving us your insight on Survivor. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for having me, and I hope your next guest doesn't come on and tell me how stupid my analysis was. I'll be watching.
All right, hopefully not. I thought you did well, though. George, appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Take care, my friend.
Go follow him on Twitter, at George Tsilfidis, at George Tsilfidis on Twitter. You can also find it in the description. Before we get into our next guest here, just want to quickly give a shout-out to our sponsors over at FanDuel. FanDuel is making Week X even bigger with a chance to win a share of $2 million. Did I say Week X? Oh, God.
You did say Week X.
Oh, my God. Week 5. Wow, I pulled a George. Anyways, FanDuel's making Week 5 even bigger with a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets this Thursday night. That's right, $2 million. Here's how it works. Opt in and place an anytime TD bet on the San Francisco 49ers against the Los Angeles Rams using your profit boost. And if that player you pick scores either the first or last touchdown in the game, you'll earn a share of $2 million in bonus bets. $1 million for each touchdown. Listen, there's a lot to go for here. I think the best way to handle this $2 million jackpot is pick a player who you think has very little chance that people will want to bet on him. I'm going to throw an absolute dart and go to the very end of the board. He might not even be dressed for this game, but I'm going to throw a dart on Isaac Guerendo and hope that the Rams absolutely blow the wheels off the Niners, and we can get him late in the game, scoring a touchdown for the last touchdown. Listen, he hasn't dressed for a game this year. He hasn't played a snap this year. But so many injuries on San Fran. If this one wins, it's going to be upwards of like very, very large amount of in bonus bets. And that's the whole goal with this touchdown jackpot boost from FanDuel. So it's just one more reason to bet on the NFL with FanDuel. So whatever you got a feeling on that opening drive or you're back on a clutch finish, now's the time to get in the game. Visit FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to download the app today and get started. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliation with Kansas Casino, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last TD pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right. Got through the ad read. Let's bring on our next guest here. He's the host of the Sit Down Crime Pod with Jeff Nadu, one of the largest crime podcasts in the world. He's a big college football bettor, loves the Eagles. He's probably very happy about their record right now. Jeff, how's it going?
What's up, my man? How are you?
Good, good. Fresh haircut, looking good, looking sharp.
No, I didn't. I get a haircut every Friday.
Oh, well, I'm my mistake. My mistake. It looks good either way. Let's get started with today's show, though. Before we get into like the bets and the picks and college football, I want to let you settle your beef here with Kirk Herbstreit because you and his dog. Sorry. What exactly is your beef with his dog? 'Cause I see you tweeted about it a little bit. Is it just you're annoyed with his posts? Are you anti-dog? What's going on here?
I don't have a beef with him. I just don't. I don't understand how many times you can post the same thing over and over. I mean, you're a professional. I mean, talk about football. I mean, how many? He's posted his dog 4 times in the last 2 days. I mean, we get it. You have a dog. I get annoyed by this kind of stuff. People that constantly post their kids, their dog. I mean, it's just weird. Throwing the worst people are the people that create like Facebook accounts for their dog. It's just bizarre, totally odd. We get it, Kirk. You have a dog. I mean, I've tried to like mute the posts, not interested in the posts. They just continue to come up. Enough already.
All right. Okay, quickly before we get into today's topics, can you give me like the top 5 worst things, most annoying things people post on social media, if you had to rank them?
Food reviews. You're not Dave Portnoy. I mean, it's the most mindless content possible. You know you failed as a content creator when that's what you're resorting to. Outfit of the day, another goofy way to post. It just takes no talent. You're not teaching anyone anything. You're just being overly vain and trying to tell us how great you are at picking out clothes. It's just lame. Incessant dog stuff, pet stuff, just so brutal. ASMR content. I mean, can you just eat normally? I mean, do you have to sit there and chew like a cow? It's just so dreadful. And overly political people that have no knowledge about how anything works. They just agree with everything based on who they vote for, regardless of how moronic or dumb they are. They just agree with everything. Just
all right.
Terrible. Incredible
list. Appreciate the knowledge here. Let's dive into the games. You got a Friday night football game that you want to talk about here. West Virginia at BYU. BYU laying 18.5 at home. West Virginia offense has really struggled to get things going. Now Nico Macchio last week not playing, officially redshirting, transferring. They have no passing game now. They're just like a run only offense. How will they match up against this BYU defense that has done a relatively good job at stopping the run? Total at 46.5. BYU minus 18.5. Do you think Virginia has enough to cover the spread here?
No. BYU's defense hasn't just been good. It's been marvelous. I mean, they've been one of the best run defenses in America. And as you alluded to, the West Virginia passing offense at this point is non-existent. I believe they only completed last week 6 completions against Utah. Good luck trying to run the ball against BYU. I think this is a lot of quick, simple, boring, bad possessions for West Virginia. It just seems like anybody they don't play, not named Pitt, they get blown the hell out. Now you got to go out to Provo, one of the toughest trips in a Big 12. And you look at what BYU's done. It hasn't just been on defense. They've been marvelous there. But Bear Buckmeyer's playing well. He hasn't turned the ball over. He's not trying to do too much. He's letting this defense do its thing. He's not making mistakes. They've been efficient. They've been very good at home. They've blown every team out at home by more than 20 points. This is another lifeless performance, I think, for West Virginia. I think they get crushed here. And this is a pretty manageable number. It's 18.5.
Yep.
You're far under 20, 21. I like this spot a lot. I'll lay it with the Cougars.
All right, Cougars 18.5. Again, Friday night football game, so a little bit of fun on your Friday night if you're looking for a sweat. Let's move on to the next game here. We got, actually, hold on quickly, 18.5. There's not many left in the market, so if you like it, you can get it at FanDuel at minus 115. Oh, no, just moved to 19.5. Never mind. Sorry. All right, let's move on. Air Force and Navy, minus 12.5 right now for Navy. 51.5 total, relatively high for what we think of for the Air Force Navy games. Obviously, the reason why is because both offenses have looked relatively good this year. This is a spot where people like to take the under. Usually it's priced in, though. What's your opinion on this total? Is it too low, too high? And how do you feel about Navy covering the 12.5 point spread?
Yeah, I mean, anybody telling you to take the under in this game is stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. If you've actually watched these teams, you would know. Both offenses you allude to aren't just decent. They're actually terrific. Liam Zarka, the new quarterback for Air Force, is a totally different player than they've had there in the past. This is a guy who will throw the ball 20 times a game at Air Force. This is a guy that's put a lot of yards on the board over the last 2 games against, to me, probably better defenses. Navy cannot stop the pass. They can't really stop anybody. And you look at them against quality passing attacks or teams that could throw the football, they just can't defend anybody. And you look at Air Force, I mean, Jason, I'm going to be quite honest. This is one of the worst defenses I've seen at this level. They cannot stop the pass at all. And I know Navy's not going to throw the ball a ton, but when they do, they throw it about 10 times a game, averaging 12 yards of completion. A lot of the time, there's no one even near a player when they catch the football. Throw in that Air Force can't stop the run either. These are 2 teams that are extremely efficient in the red zone. When they get there, they score touchdowns. Both are top 10 in red zone touchdown percentage. Both teams are extremely good on third down. Navy's actually number 1. These teams don't punt either. You're going to have possessions continuing. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to score. I know that a lot of people will tell you about how 10 years ago the games went under 4 times in a row. That doesn't matter here. I would probably put this number even a little higher. It's been bet up since open. I think anything under 55 to me is a play on. I like over here.
Yeah, all right. 51.5 minus 120. Juice towards the over at FanDuel. I always laugh when people say, oh, you have to take the under in this game because historically XYZ, like completely different teams. Like college turnover is crazy year over year, let alone from 3 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. Like,
well, I will say in terms of like what they're saying, these teams generally are pretty much the same, Navy, Air Force, Army. But this year, I think, like, you just look at Air Force, they're a totally different type of team. They have a totally different type of quarterback. I don't hate trends. Like, I don't. I'm not going to say that. Like, the next game I'm going to talk about, when you have a team that historically, with the same coach, has been the same every year against a team, I think that has to be taken into account. But I think people just kind of blindly bet this stuff, and they don't look at kind of where these teams are on the field. And I think that's important, too.
All right, yeah. Context obviously matters whenever you're looking into this sort of things. Let's talk about the next game you want to talk about here. Kentucky at Georgia. Georgia laying 20.5 points at home. 40.5 total. Relatively feels a little lower total. But, yeah, Georgia coming off tough loss to Alabama. Not great passing offense in terms of Kentucky. It's going to need a lot for them to cover this 20.5 point spread. Do you think Kentucky has enough in the tank to cover this 20.5? And how do you feel about this 48.5 total?
I mean, they could, because I anticipate this is an ugly, lower scoring game. I mean, you look at Kentucky. We talked about West Virginia earlier with quarterback problems. Kentucky's kind of in a similar state right now. This team can't throw the football. And when you are kind of one-dimensional against a pissed-off Georgia team off a loss who is very good against the run, throw in the fact that under Mark Stoops, Kentucky has just been dreadful against Georgia. They can't score. And when I have a coach that's been there a decade plus, I'm going to take into account, I mean, you look at just over the last 7 matchups, which I think are important because these 2 teams are pretty much generally very similar. Kentucky's the same team every year. Haven't scored over 17 points in a long time. I think this is another tough matchup for Kentucky on offense. You look at them on defense, they've actually been pretty solid. They're not an elite defense, but they're pretty solid. I don't know that this is an overly impressive Georgia offense. I could see this, 28-13, something like that. 31-10. I'm gonna play the under 48.5. I think it's just a little too high here in a game that's generally low scoring.
All right, taking the under there of 48.5. Let's talk a little bit quickly about Georgia here. Currently, to make the playoffs, they're minus 151 on FanDuel. To miss playoffs, plus 128. Are you concerned at all with Georgia maybe potentially missing the playoffs here. They have a pretty tough schedule ahead. They're at home to Ole Miss, at home to Texas, and on the road to Georgia Tech down the stretch towards the end of the season. If they lose 2 of those 3 games, they're 9-3. They don't really have a marquee win other than the Tennessee win and whoever they beat out of those 3 teams on their record. Do you think a 9-3 Georgia team will be able to make the playoffs in the current landscape that we see things right now?
I'm always one that tries to not answer these questions just because they're very difficult to kind of predict. I mean, we're only going into week 6. I mean, the rankings haven't even come out yet. I mean, you think about it like this. I mean, the Big Ten's probably going to have 4 teams. The SEC is going to have multiple teams. And the ACC, where they have a Big 12 and G5. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been overly impressed by Georgia. Both games have been close that they played against quality opponents. I don't really ever know how to answer this. I got to be honest. I don't spend a lot of time looking at rankings. I don't care, to be fair. I think it's always good to think about and project. And I like it in like March Madness where I can kind of bracket buster and bubble teams, that kind of thing. But I mean, I guess they'll get the benefit of the doubt. They're obviously a very nationally known program. You're probably going to give them the benefit of the doubt over like a 2-win Big Ten, 2-loss Big Ten team or something. I don't know. Right now they're in, but there's a lot of things to shake out. Texas Tech's not going to continue to be undefeated. I'm sure Indiana will lose at some point. Oklahoma, what will they look at like without John Mateer going forward as they get into the crux of their schedule? I would assume they'll find their way in though.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate that. I always like putting you on the spot, though, just to get those raw.
I don't look into anything. I just jump into the questions.
Love it. I appreciate it. All right. Last question before I head out here. Pumpkin spice latte. I've noticed on your Twitter. It's October now. It's that season. Is this a bit? Are you like a fan of pumpkin spice lattes? I've never tried them before. I'll
actually tell you something that I don't know that I've ever come out and say. I don't do bits. Okay. I don't. I'm not a bit guy. Everything I say, I agree with. Okay. I go out, I get women. That's not a lie. I don't lie. There's no reason to lie. My life is all over the internet, right? As far as lattes, I wouldn't say it's so much lattes. I actually just love pumpkin spice. I'm a big fan of pumpkin spice candles. I love just pumpkin flavored stuff. I like this time of the year a lot. I'm a big fall guy. I like the smell of, burning fires. We around here have a delicacy called a whoopie pie. It's an Amish-made dessert. Pumpkin ones are terrific. I've had some recently. I like the cupcakes and things like that. When I do eat sugar, I try to get pumpkin spice. As far as like coffee flavored stuff, I do like it too. I'm a Starbucks guy occasionally during pumpkin spice season. Nah, it's not a bit. I love pumpkin spice stuff, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I don't do bits.
No, ever. Didn't want to accuse you of doing a bit there. I was just curious. I've never had one before. Listen, I'm an exclusive black coffee iced drinker, so like I'm like
so am I.
I'm kind of a psychopath. So yeah,
I watch that stuff just because there's so much sugar and stuff in those drinks. But I actually mainly drink black coffee. That's my go-to. But I like it once in a while. Pumpkin spice is good stuff.
All right, maybe I'll have one when you're on next week as like my little sweet treat of the day. Jeff, I appreciate you joining the show. You can follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff Nadu. Jeff, before you head off, what's the most recent episode of the Crime Pod? Sit down. Sorry, who you got on this past week?
So I interviewed an FBI agent who was the main conduit for bringing down the real life Sopranos family in New Jersey, the family that the show is based on. He was the agent that was able to, not only get involved, but get the people to cooperate, flip, become rats. And the crime family was decimated because of it. So,
all right. Appreciate the plug. And yeah, I'm going to have to listen to it over the weekend. Jeff, appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
See ya. Go follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff Nadu and go listen to the Sit Down Crime Pod. Great show. Great content if you like true crime and that's the sort of stuff. Anyways, before we close things out with the Hitman, and he's going to review my touchdown bet that I just gave out a little bit earlier, just want to remind everyone that later today on the Hammer Betting Network on the Forward Progress HQ YouTube channel, you can watch our Best Bets show with Rob, with Austin, and with Suma. I almost forgot Suma. With Suma, the German guy. Make sure you tune into that. Hitman was supposed to be on that show. Everyone complained because he had such a bad record last year. So we got him kicked off, got downgraded. And now he's joining us here today on this show, downgrade from Forward Progress to the Hammer Daily. And then, also after that, as you saw on the graphic, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be live for our Thursday night football watch along. And guess who's going to be joining us there as well? Hitman will be joining us for the fourth quarter. Hopefully, you can give us a bet out this week. Gave one out last week, and it's been a good time.
What a sweat that bet was.
It was
RJ Harvey. What a sweat.
It was as sweaty as it could be, but that's what we live for, is those good sweats and those good wins. The face of elation of you, Hitman, and Rob.
Yeah,
was
what a
just
photo.
Incredible. Incredible. All right. Let's bring him on. He's the best prop bettor that I know. You can catch him tonight on the watch along, like I just mentioned. And is he wearing a Detroit Lions shirt? Hitman, how's it going?
No.
Oh.
This is a grass league. It's a golf league.
Okay.
It's a par 3 league.
Okay.
And I caddied in one of them this past summer.
All right, maybe you can be my caddy one day when we go golfing together. You could see how I thought that was kind of a Lions logo. You're pretty small on the screen for me, so I can't.
Yeah,
really
I think it's the New York Bluebirds is the
Oh.
name of the franchise.
All right, Bluebirds, Blue Jays. I know you're a big Blue Jays fan, have a big future, and you're rooting for. But we can talk baseball all we want. But no, instead we're going to talk about what we brought you in here for, the Thursday night football game. Where do we start? There's so many injuries across the board. All of San Fran original starting wide receivers who you would expect to start for them, all completely out. Quarterback out. Obviously, we know Kittle's been out for a while, but Kittle out. Their entire offensive weapons are decimated. They're using second-string guys, Demarcus Robinson, Kendrick Bourne, Sky Moore, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I feel like the best place to start is with this wide receiver grouping. Any way to attack this, or any way you're looking at this wide receiver grouping? Anyone you think is going to be favored by Mac Jones early on in the game? Give me your thoughts here.
I'm just going to say in general about this game, some people aren't going to like this, but I'm not going to have many strong takes on this game just because I think that there's so many unknowns, especially with on the 49ers side, that it's a great game to just keep accumulating information as the day's going on. Like, you might see certain writers or certain reporters that might speculate on, I think that this guy will be more involved due to the lack of weapons for San Fran. And you react to that. And I also think that it's an amazing live play, or like live game for that player props. And it's going to be because I don't think that a lot of these lines are efficient. It's just very hard for books to price them. Now, the problem is it's hard for me to price them as well. But I think that there's going to be alternates in play, where if you really do like a guy, you can maybe look towards alternates. And live props, if you see that one guy is getting the attention of Mac Jones or getting more playing time than anticipated, like you could react to it. With that said, San Francisco guys, it's tough. I mean, I kind of think that Demarcus Robinson should be a little bit closer to Kendrick Bourne. There was a lot of hype on Demarcus Robinson in the offseason, and Shanahan was talking about, this is a guy that we hated going against when he played for the Rams and everything. And I think that they should maybe be a little bit closer, but I haven't bet anything with them, to be honest. But that's like the first look that popped out to me as far as the San Fran receivers go.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. They're almost, I think they're 11, 12 yards apart in terms of receiving yards. Kendrick Bourne at 41.5 minus 112. Both sides. Demarcus Robinson as well at 29.5, minus 112, both sides. But if you go look at their touchdown scores, for them to score a touchdown, they're basically even, plus 330, plus 340, Demarcus Robinson and Kendrick Bourne, respectively, with actually Demarcus Robinson being priced high with a higher likelihood to score a touchdown. Let's stick with the pass catchers, but flip over to Los Angeles. Obviously, we know that Puka and Devontae Adams are going to dominate the target share there, but Tyler Higbee's going to be out this game. Is it going to be Colby Parkinson? Is it going to be Dennis Allen? Is it going to be Jordan Whittington in the mix a little bit more? Is Tutu Atwell going to get like those split shares of targets? How do you see those leftover targets from Tyler Higbee being dispersed?
I mean, Jordan Whittington has been playing a lot more than Tutu Atwell recently. He's been playing a lot more snaps. He's been playing more routes, not as in run formations. It's been basically always been Jordan Whittington, and pass downs, it's still been leaning towards Jordan Whittington. So I think that that's probably rightfully priced. Whittington's been a guy that's been getting bet over. I think he opened at like 11.5, 12.5. It's up to 15.5. That's probably right. now with that type of gap between him and Atwell. I think it's going to be pure committee for the Rams at tight end. I think that Davis, Allen, Parkinson, and Ferguson are going to be pretty close in snaps and routes. I know Terrence Ferguson hasn't he was inactive last week, but he has been a guy that I do believe the Rams internally are high on. Mm-hmm. It's just that it's a numbers game right now, and young tight ends tend to take a little bit more time to develop. But yeah, I think these tight ends are all pretty similar, to be honest, with the Rams. I don't have many strong opinions with them.
Yeah, a lot of guessing for us here. And I'm going to kind of give you a question here, which I'm guessing on as well. Earlier on in the show, we did our ad read for FanDuel's touchdown, $2 million touchdown jackpot, where the first or last, if the player you bet on scores the first or last touchdown, you get a share of $1 million with bonus bets split equally between how many people bet on that jackpot. I came on the show and I said Isaac Guerendo to score a touchdown. Now, I know he hasn't seen a snap at all this year. I don't even know if he's been dressed for games. But, like, is this a scenario where you can see, like...
No. I hate it. Jason.
All right. Well, I was gonna continue the question with Robinson, Guerendo, usage getting an increased workload based off previous weeks with the amount of Christian McCaffrey's been used over the last 3 weeks, with how decimated this offense is. Do you see these other guys getting more of an increased share instead of just everything going to McCaffrey?
Here's what I think with Sam, and again, like, people aren't going to like this because I'm just not giving an answer on what I'm playing, but it truly is a wait and see for me right now. With Christian McCaffrey and like the San Fran running backs, there's going to be two ways that I could see this game playing out. There's going to be one way where San Francisco uses McCaffrey more as a receiver and gets Brian Robinson a lot more involved. The reason I hate the Guerendo still, like, they've talked very high about Brian Robinson. And I'm pretty confident that, like, if McCaffrey's not getting touches, it's going to be freaking Brian Robinson that's going to probably get all of them. But so I think that they could play it out that way, where McCaffrey's maybe they use more two-back formations, where McCaffrey is lined up in the slot and Robinson is lined up in the backfield. I could totally see that. And if that does happen, McCaffrey rushing unders are probably going to have value. I could also see another game script where this is a big divisional game for San Francisco, and Christian McCaffrey is one of the best conditioned athletes in the entire league. And they say, we are going to give the ball to Christian McCaffrey freaking 30 times and just run him into the ground because he's our only chance of winning this game. I don't know which one's happening. And if I get like a better feel for it, I'll probably be playing this stuff and playing it big. But at this moment, I don't know what San Francisco is going to do. But it just reinforces what I said about this is a good game to maybe pay attention live, and there could be some good opportunities that pop up, in my opinion.
All right. Let's talk quickly about then this. This is like the best spot for this jackpot to use your tokens where you get a first or last touchdown, you get a share of $2 million. Do you have anyone who you would want to take? You gotta bake in the game theory here, man. You want to be on a touchdown scorer who's going to score a touchdown, but it's not going to be high picks. You can get as many bonus bets, extract as much of that as possible. Is there anyone you like who you think could be a low picked player in this touchdown scoring market?
If I had a first play, it would probably be on Brian Robinson plus 750, and like, let's just embrace the variance that maybe San Francisco is using McCaffrey more as a receiver this game, and Brian Robinson is getting more carries, and you're getting plus 750 on that. So I would probably say Brian Robinson would be the guy that I would look for in that market.
All right. That's a great look there. I will say, though, 2 weeks ago, you talked about Jalen Wright getting the goal line work over Ollie Gordon, and I was suggesting Ollie Gordon, and you were wrong. So listen, I don't think it's going to happen this week. I think there's a way different situation. But if Isaac Guerendo does score the last touchdown, you are flying out to Toronto and you're taking me to a round of golf. On you.
He's just not.
Perfect. So let's lock that in then. Let's lock in the flight to Toronto. or if he does score a touchdown here, you're going to pay.
Come to me. I'll take care. I can't leave during football. I just
no,
can't.
not during football. I mean, this is in the off season. We can do this in the off season. Make some content out of it. Yeah, you good with that then?
I'm good with that.
All right, perfect. But you got to pay for the golf round.
I always pay.
All right, sounds good.
As the elder statesman compared to you, I'll take care of you.
All right, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
What are we? We're only like 8 years in age difference.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Man, is that what happens when you bet a lot on sports?
I'm eight. My hairline gets closer to Pizzola every bet I make. Every single bet I make. So.
All right, let's do a little bit of a SGP before I let you out here. You talked about Kendrick Bourne and you talked about Demarcus Robinson, and I'm gonna go for like a little bit of inverse. Kendrick Bourne under receiving yards, Demarcus Robinson over receiving yards. If you were to have two legs to close it out, what would you add here?
I guess it would probably be Robinson over, McCaffrey under rush yards. But again, this could be something I could theoretically see myself being involved in a McCaffrey over rush yards once we get closer to post. If I start to get a feel that it is going to be the second type of game script that I talked about, but it has a little bit, it has some correlation into it that Robinson's more involved. McCaffrey's more of a receiver. So I guess you could also do Robinson over rush yards, McCaffrey over receiving too, theoretically.
Yeah.
So which one do you like better, Jason? We'll go with Robinson as the one leg, and which McCaffrey leg do you like?
Let me click around here. Let's go with the under. Let's have some fun with it. McCaffrey. Okay. Actually, no. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. It's crazy to me seeing McCaffrey lined at 60 rushing yards.
We'll go with the McCaffrey under rush with the Robinson over rush.
All right, there we go. So Kendrick Bourne under 41.5 receiving yards. Demarcus Robinson over 29.5 receiving yards. Brian Robinson over 19.5. Christian McCaffrey under 59.5 rushing yards. That'll get you 10-1 over on FanDuel. If you want to go play it, go ahead to FanDuel.com/forward progress. Any last opinions here, Hitman, for this game? Anything touchdown related, prop related, anything you like or anything you're looking for in this game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, another long shot touchdown score that I probably won't bet, but it's just for fun. It would probably be Kyle Juszczyk at 10-1. He played a lot of tight end in training camp. There was a lot of talk in training camp about how he was playing a little bit more tight end this year. So maybe he gets involved with all the pass catchers out. Maybe we see a lot more 12 personnel, a lot more 21 personnel from San Francisco, and Kyle Juszczyk finds his way on the field a little bit more. So I would go with him.
All right, Kyle Juszczyk, 10-1. Juszczyk, I think as some people call him. I think that's the proper pronunciation.
No, it's Juszczyk.
Okay.
Juszczyk.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Juszczyk.
No. Completely wrong.
And the chat's telling me it's Juszczyk, so I think that's right.
No, Juszczyk.
Are you Polish?
No.
Do you know Polish? Are you friends with?
For Kyle Juszczyk.
It's Juszczyk. I just Googled it.
We'll talk more on the stream. We'll ask everybody else what they think.
All right. Sounds good. Hitman, I appreciate you joining the show. Reminder, you can follow Hitman on Twitter at Hitman428. We will see you tonight on the Forward Progress Watch Along in the fourth quarter. Text me if I miss you, because last time I missed you.
Sounds good. Yeah. Everybody try to join us the fourth quarter. Best case, you get some actionable props that I'm giving out, and worst case, you just get to see me furious after I get bad beats in the last 2 minutes. So good time.
Well, bad beats don't exist, so we're not going to see that second part. But we will see you sweat regardless. Hitman, I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, sweet stuff there from Hitman. Listen. The chat's coming after me for the Garendo stuff. I'm not saying it's going to win, but the goal of the contest is to have the least amount of guys picked and have the guy score a touchdown. He might not be dressed. That's fine, but that's even more reason to throw a dart at him.
Does it refund if he doesn't play?
I assume so.
So, I mean, didn't you draft him in our Hammer Fantasy League?
Yeah, but it was like 10 minutes before before Brian Robinson got traded. So that was crazy. I also had Brian Robinson previously as well, so it was just like a bang bang thing that kind of.
You cornered the running back market for the 49ers.
Listen, I got screwed on my picks, and I'm still 4-0, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah,
I'm the only
rough.
undefeated team remaining.
I lost to fucking Mike's team, that awful team he put together.
Tough
Embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Tough bounce. You guys all made fun of me, but hey, only one guy at the top of the standings right now, and that's this guy. That's this guy. All right. That closed out the show for us today. Chat was going crazy, but the likes aren't there. So can we get the likes up, please? It goes a long way for us on the channel. So get the likes up. What are we doing? Also, if you're new to the channel, is your first time watching the show, hopefully we earned your subscribe button. I thought today's show was fantastic. I thought it was a great show. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications as well. You're notified every time we go live. And if you don't want to be notified, guess what? We are live Monday to Friday, noon to 1. There you go, noon Eastern to 1 p.m. Now you know what to do on your lunch break. And yeah, that wraps it up. What do we got up next on the Hammer? I believe we have talked about it earlier, Best Bets show. I'm going to be producing that at 5 p.m. Eastern over on the Forward Progress YouTube channel. Then again, like we mentioned multiple times this episode, the watch along, 8 p.m. Eastern time. My opinion, some of the best content we do is on that watch along. It's by far the most fun. If you're watching the game, you got to have it. You got to be tuned in to that. So yeah, make sure you tune into the Forward Progress watch along. And then coming up tomorrow, Friday, to close out the week, we have a great show for you. Austin Mock's going to be on, recurring guest on Friday. We opened up a spot on Friday because George came over here. So Money's going to be filling in, talking some MLB playoffs. We'll have some MLB plays for you. We'll be able to talk the Jays series, whoever they end up playing. And then finally, we got some UFC bets. Big UFC card, UFC 320. Andrew Gombas is coming on to talk some UFC. So if you're looking for some bets for the weekend, you know where to be. Again, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we go live. And that wraps it up for us here today. This has been the Thursday, October 2nd edition of the Hammer Daily, presented by FanDuel here on the Hammer Betting Network. We will see you guys tomorrow.